Welcome back to the last video of our Greek travel series. After spending 24 hours in Mykonos, we took the ferry and arrived in Athens quite late in the afternoon, so we went straight for dinner. We had a typical Greek taverna meal with fried cheese, Greek salad, grilled lamb chops, and of course grilled squid. So after a really good dinner at this local taverna, we are just walking around in the neighborhood of Plaka, which is probably one of the most popular shopping neighborhood. And so it's already 8:30 I think, and it's pretty dark because the sun sets around 7 o'clock here. And so we're just going to do some shopping and then go back to our hotel. After having an amazing pistachio gelato in Plaka, we went back to our hotel because the following day we had a very busy day ahead of us. Since we only had a day and a half in Athens, we tried to do as much as possible the following day. So we woke up bright and early, and at 8 o'clock we entered the Acropolis from the side entrance. The side entrance is the one that's closest to Acropolis metro station, but both entrances involve a lot of steps to get to the top. On the way to the top, you'll pass by the theater of Dionysus, and that's also when you start seeing people coming in from the main entrance. And look at the crowds behind me, even though it's only 8:30. So just behind me is the Temple of Athena, and then that way behind me is the Parthenon that's under construction. That's why there's scaffolding and you can hear the construction noise, but it's still really beautiful and the lighting is superb right now. So this is the view over the city. There's the Acropolis Museum down there, and then Hadrian's Arch. And yes, there's construction on this side too. If you walk a bit further, you'll find a platform and a Greek flag waving in the wind, and this is a great spot for pictures. So we arrived around 8 o'clock. Actually, no, we arrived at 7:45. It's now 10:15, so we spent a little bit more than 1 hour here. And so the next step is to go to the Ancient Agora. But before we get there, there is an olive tree that's famous here because it's apparently the olive tree that the goddess Athena gave to Athens. This is what the crowd looks like now, so it's pretty busy.
Alright, this one?
Yes, yes.
Thank you. Yeah,
cutie. I think they want your water. So many cats here. So 3 here, and there's another one that ran that way. Actually, since the Roman Agora is very close to the Acropolis, and our combined ticket, which was €30, does include this, we are going to visit this first, and maybe we'll leave the Ancient Agora for this afternoon. But yeah, so this is the Roman Agora. So after our visit to the Acropolis, we decided to visit the Roman Agora, which is located to the north of the Acropolis and to the east of the Ancient Agora. If you buy the combined ticket like we did, then you'll be able to visit 7 sites and monuments in Athens, and one of them is the Roman Agora. So 5 minutes away from the Roman Agora is Hadrian's library. So this was also included in our combined ticket. And so Hadrian, we all know Hadrian, famous Roman emperor. Well, he had a library here, and you can already imagine how beautiful and grand it must have been back then. And so all of this is quite easily accessible from the Acropolis. So I know this has nothing to do with the Roman Agora or Hadrian's library, but there's so many cats and they're so adorable because they just go anywhere they want. You know, you're not supposed to touch the marble, but the cats don't care. So, since it's still very early for lunch, it's like 10:30, and we managed to visit the Acropolis, the Roman Agora, and Hadrian's library. We're now at the Ancient Agora. So this place is really famous and important in history because this is apparently where Socrates taught. This is where he strolled around, and this is literally the birthplace of democracy in Athens. So it's a really big deal. And the gardener in me absolutely loves all the olive trees that we've been seeing here. This tree is so gorgeous. You can even spot the olives in the trees, but I think they're all green. I haven't seen any black ones. Even though this part is actually reconstructed, it's really beautiful because everything is so symmetrical. And just outside of the pillars, you can see the olive trees, and up there is actually one of the entrance to the Acropolis. There's also a small museum that you can enter for free, and it shows all sorts of artifacts from ancient Greece. Once you've visited the main building, make sure you walk around the numerous paths outside. Some of the paths will lead you to different parts of the Ancient Agora, including the Roman bath, the remains of the state prison, the Temple of Ares. But my favorite one was the Temple of Hephaestus, located on top of a little hill. So that's the Acropolis on the hill there with the Parthenon behind. And over there, like I said, is the birthplace of democracy. And there's a very tall hill over there. And the temple that we're trying to get to is just behind those trees. So this is the beautiful temple of Hephaestus. It is just across from that famous building, and I'm actually really impressed by how well preserved this is. There's a few tours, not that many people, and it's just, again, really well preserved. So I didn't know, but apparently the Hephaestus was the patron of metalworking. And one thing we learned is that this is actually, oops, stairs. This temple is apparently older than the Parthenon, and yet it looks better preserved. After all that walking, we were definitely hungry, so we went to Monastiraki and found tons and tons of restaurants. We found one that had absolutely amazing lamb kebabs. The Monastiraki neighborhood is a popular hotspot in Athens. You can buy tons of things, there's tons of souvenir shops, clothing stores, as well as restaurants. From there, we walked to a Halloween store that's called Little Kluk. It's a bit unusual, but it's a lane and a cafe that's well known for its decorations, and it happened to be a Halloween theme when we were there. Then it was time to visit the central market, which was very close to all the other sites as well. It was nice to walk around the market, but most things are actually fresh produce, so fresh seafood and meat, spices, vegetables, and fruits. There was a fantastic little bakery across the street where we got fresh baklava and they were so good. But then it was time to go back to Monastiraki because I was craving for some fresh pomegranate juice. The juice was not cheap, I have to say, but there's no way I can get this back home. So one stop away from Syntagma Square is actually this beautiful stadium, which is the site of the first modern Olympic Games. So we decided not to pay, but you can take a look from the outside. So final stop of the day is the Olympian, where there is a temple of Zeus, but it is under renovation, as you can see behind me. This was included in our combined tickets, so that's why we're here, and it was very close to the stadium we just saw. And so yeah, I think this is really going to be our last stop of the day because we're exhausted and we might need a little break. We did go back to our hotel to rest a little bit before it was time to go out again, and just before dinner we took a short walk around the neighborhood of Plaka, went back to the pomegranate juice shop, found some cute cats looking towards the Ancient Agora and the Acropolis, and then it was finally time for dinner. For dinner, we found this tiny restaurant that's the definition of a hole in the wall, but wow, the food was actually really good and the seafood was so fresh. By the time we got there, they were out of the calamari, but the prawns, the octopus, and the fish were so delicious. And then we had our last ice cream or pistachio gelato of the trip before it was time to say goodbye to Greece.